So, what are we doing today? Basically, we're going to take a look at word problems involving linear systems, and we're going to take those linear systems and we're going to solve them by graphing. We're going to be able to set up the equations based on word problems and also understand that two lines that aren't parallel have a solution. Now, for our first example, Cool Tools rents lawnmowers for a base fee of $20 plus $6.50 per hour. If the customer cost was $46, how much did she rent the lawnmower? So with problems like this, we always have to start with an introductory statement declaring what each of the variables represents. So the first one is, let C represent the total cost in dollars. Let H represent, well, what we're going to represent is the hours of use. Because it says here that you end up paying $6.50 per hour. That is the key concept here. Anytime we have something that's being calculated per hour, there is some form of variable that we have to have in our equation. So suppose that C was our cost. Well, that's going to equal, well, remember we start by paying $20, and then it's $6.50 per hour. So 6.50 per hour. Now, the next part of the problem tells us that we have something interesting to deal with. You'll notice that it says the customer's total cost was $46. How long did she rent the lawnmower? Now, what we're going to do is we're literally just going to let C equal 46. So 46 is equal to 20 plus 6.50H. So what we're going to do is we're just going to isolate H. So 46 minus 20 is equal to plus 6.50H. So this ends up being 26 is equal to 6.5H. Now we'll divide both sides by 6.5. So H is equal to 26 divided by 6.5. And we end up with H is equals 4. So remember, we said that H was an hour, so we have to state our final solution. Therefore, the customer had the mower for 4 hours. Yep, that's it. Moving on. Now, for example 2, it says a sales clerk can earn $175 a month plus 10% commission on their sales. So I'm just going to highlight the stuff that I found important in here, and we'll highlight it in 2 different colors. It says he can earn $175 a month plus 10% commission on their sales. So here's what we're going to do. If she earned $375 in September, what was her sales for that month? So we're going to let E represent the, you guessed it, earnings for the month. And we'll actually say that it's in dollars. And let S represent the sales. Let's say the number of sales. So when we come up with our equation for our earnings, we start with big E. So the big earnings is equal to, well, we start off with 175. That's what they said. So she earns $175 plus 10% on not the number of sales that we said before, but the dollar value in sales. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to write 10% as 0.10, and we're going to use the letter S as our sales figure. Now, it says that she earned $375. So she earned $375 in September. So we're going to figure that final answer out. So we're just going to let E equal 375, and we'll just do our calculation. So we get 375 is equal to 175 plus 0.10s. Now, I've told you before, try to stay away from using S. In this case, I'm using S, but I'm being very careful with how I use it. I try to make it small enough so that it doesn't look like a 5. So 375 minus 175 is equal to 0.10s. So 375 minus 175 is 200. 0.10s. In this case, S is equal to 200 divided by 0.10, which turns into 2,000. So 2,000 is equal to S. So now your question is, what does 2,000S means? So we're saying that S represents $2,000 in sales. So now once we've done our once we've come up with our final answer, we just need to say it. Therefore, the total dollars in sales, well, for September was $2,000. Now, if you're not sure that that calculation works, what you do is you just quickly check. So you do this as a check. Well, so you do a left side, right side check. So LS is equal to, well, the original equation was E is equal to something. So that's what we start with. We say LS is equal to E. And then we also do a right side check as well. And our right side is equal to the equation. 175 plus 0.10s. Now, what we're actually checking in this T-chart that we're creating is we're checking that the left side is equal to the right side. Now, we're just checking to see if S is equal to 2,000. And we also know that E started as 375. So when we substitute, we end up with the following. E is 375 and then we substitute into our equation, and we get 175 plus 0.10 times 2,000, and this ends up being 175 plus 200, which is 375. Okay, now since the left side is equal to the right side, therefore E equals 375 and S is equal to 2,000, like we expected. Okay. This problem here is a perimeter problem. It says the perimeter of a rectangle, of this rectangle that we have here, is 2,686 meters. The width is 223 less than the length. So when I look at this chart, this is my length. So I'm going to let L, I'm going to use the script L, let the length be L in meters. And let the width be W in meters. So if this is L here and this is W, it says here right away that our width of our triangle is 223 meters less than the width. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to say, well, in that case, W is equal to L minus 223. Now, you know from earlier in your career, P was equal to the perimeter of this entire rectangle here has the equation 2L plus 2W. In my mind, I know every single variable in this equation. You'll notice that we said that the perimeter of the rectangle was 2,000 meters. So in my mind, I literally say let P equals 2,686. And you'll also know that you also know what L is. L is just L, but W in this case is equal to L minus 223, as we've highlighted right here in red. So that's what I say in my head, and you could write that down or just substitute directly to get 2,686 is equal to 2L plus 2L in brackets minus 223. And you'll notice that we have a plus 2 here, and we're going to take the plus 2 and we're going to distribute into each of the parts of this equation. So we get 2,686 is equal to 2L plus 2 times L is 2L minus 446. And now all we have to do is isolate for L. So now we're going to take 2686, and we're going to add 446. And 2L and 2L give us 2L plus 2L. And now you'll notice how I kind of cross off all these things as I go. You'll notice now that I've got 286 plus 446. Well, this equals 3132 is 4L. Now, in order to get L by itself, we just divide both sides by L, and we end up with, well, L is equal to 3132 divided by 4, which means L is equal to 783. Now, this problem isn't done yet. It asks us to find the length and the width of our triangle if you take a look here, right? So what we're going to do is once we find our L value, we need to go back and we need to substitute back into W. But find W. So in this case, W is equal to L minus 223. And in this case, L is equal to 783 minus 223, which gives us a 0, a 6, and a 5. 560 is our answer. The only thing that's left to do is to check your answer and then state your final solution. So I know that I'm correct, so I'm actually just gonna quickly do the check. Check. W equals 560 and L is equal to 783 in our equation. So remember our left side, right side check. Here's my left side of my original equation, which is P, and our right side based on our equation was, let's see, 2L plus 2W. Now I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, well, P is equal to 2686, and I substitute that in as my left side, which is 2686. My L is 2 times 783 plus 2 times 560, which equals 2,686 as we expected. Since the left side equals the right side, therefore W equals 560 and L equals 783, and we state our final solution. Therefore, the width is 560 meters and the length is 783 meters, and we're done. So what I want you to do is I want you to try the next problem set. I'm not going to do the check. We're just going to go through and see if we get the same equations. I'm going to let the first number of this problem, it says the sum of two numbers is 181. 1/2 of the first number decreased by 1/3 is the number 3. Let the first number be x. Let the second number be, let's make it y. Isn't that convenient? You'll notice that there are two lines that describe two different equations. It says the sum of two numbers is 181. So we're going to say 1x plus y is equal to 181. And then it says 1/2 of the first number decreased by 1/3 of the second number is 3. So the first number I'm going to say is x for my second equation. And it says 1/2 of the first number. So I'm going to multiply x by half. And then it's decreased by 1/3. So decreased usually means subtraction by 1/3 the second number. So 1/3, and y is our second number, is equal to 3. So what I normally do is I take a look at these equations and I label each equation equation 1 and equation 2. If there are any changes to be made, I rewrite this package as a system. So you'll see me do something like this. I say, alright, so I look at equation 1 and I'm going to rearrange it, and I'm going to call this new one 1, which is equal to 181 minus x. And for my new system, I'm literally going to write 2 being exactly the way it was. So 1/2 x minus 1/3 y is equal to 3. So once I've got this, I've got a system now where I can say something like this: sub equation 1 into 2. So this is my new equation 2, this is my new equation 1, and I'm just substituting directly into it. So let's see what we get. So we're going to get the following. Now, you'll notice that we have fractions. I hate fractions. Let's find the LCM and multiply. So now we have 6 times 1/2, which simplifies to 3x, and 6 times 1/3 gives us minus 2, and then 181 minus x equals 18. Now we distribute the minus 2 into the bracket, and we get 3x minus 362 plus 2x equals 18. Keeping all the variables on the left side, we're going to get 3x plus 2x. I'm just going to cross those off lightly. And we have, on the left side, we're going to have this equals 18, and then we're going to add 362. Now we'll move this chart up a little bit. So now we have, well, 3x plus 2 is 18 plus 362. So we're going to end up with 5x is equal to 380. Solving for x, we get x is equal to 380 divided by 5, which means x is equal to 76. But we still have to go back and we still have to calculate our y value. Remember, originally we had x plus y equals 181, but we found this equation here. We literally calculated this equation, and we said y was equal to 181 minus x in that regard, right? And now we'll take that value of x, which was equal to 76, and substitute into our equation for y. So we end up with y is equal to 181 minus 76, which gives us y is equal to 105 as our answer for y. And if you take a look at our original equation, they asked us to find what those two numbers are. So the only thing that would be left to do would be to actually check those two numbers in those two equations. But I won't do that. You can do that on your own. So therefore, the numbers are 105 and 76. Now, if I asked you to actually check, you would actually check by going into a check solution for both equations, and then we're good to go.